So now you guys have one child,
We got two.
two. Now tell me their
Yes.
names again.
We've got Lucy. She
Yeah.
is 3.5, and we've got
Whoa.
Baker, and he's 7 months old. So
Oh, that's cool. That
yeah,
is so much. That's so much fun, isn't it?
it is. It's great. They've been. It's crazy. Just going. I know I'm already getting started on our team, but it's crazy how much our guys have taken to them. Like Lucy runs at all of our players and gives them hugs after the games and on the field and stuff. So you know, just a good group of guys, and it's great to have my family around them for sure.
Yeah, that is so cool. I tell you, I watched like every pitch of the game Sunday night. I was really glad that it started late. I don't know how you
Yeah.
guys felt about that, but we take the zone at 7:15, so I got home in time to watch all of it. And
Yeah.
I love your baseball team, Trevor. To tell me what you love the most about this team.
I think, I love everybody's energy. Like our dugout is in, and one of the coolest parts is, when you got guys not playing and watching them celebrate somebody else's victories, like it's such a weird thing to talk about because everyone likes to talk about the players that are actually playing and making it happen. But like when the guys that aren't playing, when the glue guys are so in tune with each other and wanting the team to win, it's special to be around, and that's what that's what I like. I like seeing that. Obviously, I love watching. Ryan Nicholson. He's hit like 21 home runs. That's always fun to watch. But watching our guys celebrate almost harder than he celebrates is just awesome, and that's the coolest thing to watch.
What's what do you think? How does that celebration Sunday night compare to the celebrations that you went through as a player at state?
Man, you know, it's hard to describe because as a player, I was in it. I didn't like recognize the moment. Like I knew it was there, and I had a blast when we won the SEC tournament in 2012. That was amazing. Watching our pitchers dominate all week and our hitters were getting it done. We played every game at noon, and we were grinding in that nice Hoover heat. And then my sophomore year, we went to Omaha, and just the dog pile. I remember being at Virginia and how cool that was. But here, it was totally different. It was the first time in Kentucky history we'd hosted a super regional. We broke the attendance record for like the third straight game or something like that. And then, I didn't run out there. I just kind of like stood and watched all of our coaches and our players celebrate and was just trying to soak it all in because I'm like, man, these guys have worked forever to do this. Watching our fans where everyone was still here and Coach Minge was talking on the mic to everybody. It was truly special. Just I mean, it's the first time in Kentucky history we're going to Omaha. We're the last SEC team to do it, so we're finally here, and just it's incomparable, really, because at Mississippi State there was somewhat of an expectation when you make a super that you're just supposed to go, and Kentucky and Coach Minge had made two previous super regionals and hadn't been able to get it done. So just watching the celebration of the former players like racing on the field to get out there to celebrate with these current players, it was truly special.
Now, he brought up your name when he was doing the TV interview. And I know your mom and dad have told you this already, but he mentioned after the Kennesaw State series about how you and some others spoke to the team. What was your message?
Yeah, at the Kennesaw State series, we got these super nice benches installed in our dugout for the guys to get off their feet, which is great. But it's really hard to be loud and excited and happy to be there sitting. Sitting is a stationary position. Standing, you can get excited, you can celebrate, you can do all these things. So I told Coach Minge after the games, I was like, hey, I need to talk to our dugout captain, Hagen Allen. I'm like, but we need to have some kind of rule set in place where they're not just sitting down the whole time because it's not going to work. So then Coach Minge the next day of practice like brings up the 2013 team I was a part of at Mississippi State. And we had the bench mob and he told the team about it, how we played well. And he was like, Fitz, what was some of the stuff y'all did? And I was like, oh, we had these three guys that freestyle rapped every third inning. We had bubble gum every sixth inning. Sometimes we did, you put a Starburst in your mouth, but you couldn't eat it. You just had to like let it dissolve in your mouth. We had the seventh inning sit, just rattling it all off. And they're like, all right. So then they started doing their own thing. And then so we get beat by Tennessee 2 out of 3. Tough series. Go to South Carolina, get beat tough, 2 out of 3. Then we lose to Friday night against Arkansas. So we lost 5 out of the last 7. I went up to Coach Minge Saturday morning and I'm like, hey, it's going to be weird, but I want to have a dugout meeting. He was like, what do you mean? I was like, we get done with scouting report. I really want to kick all the starters out of the room and just talk to the bench players. So he's like, all right. And you get done with scouting report, and he's like, all right, starters, get out. Fitz wants to talk to the dugout guys and the bench players. So I just got up there and started talking to him. I was like, hey, the stuff we've been doing has been awesome, but it's gotten stale. Like, we need to reinvent ourselves. You can keep doing what you've been doing. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. You just need to bring fresh energy. I was like, there's just all kinds of stuff. I was like, I'm wearing different shoes today. I know my shoes have nothing to do with winning and losing, but I'm switching my energy. I parked in a different parking spot. All the hilarious stuff that baseball is known for. I'm doing it. And I told him, I was like, we can keep doing what we're doing, or we can create new energy. And that's what's happened. We've got a cowboy hat in the dugout now. We've got, hat stack with like hats we're not even wearing that day. So it goes even higher. And so they've done a good job with it. And if they need an idea, they come and ask me about stuff we used to do. So it's been cool.
So, Julie and I were talking about this the other night, and Julie asked me, well, what does the director of player development do? And what you just talked about. I mean,
Yep.
it's more than, developing a player's skill set, right?
Mm-hmm. It's everything. I mean, like, baseball wise, like I'm watching them, they're doing early hitting right now. And so for that, the player development that I had to do was I put TrackMan up on the scoreboard so that they can see how fast the ball's coming in, how hard they're hitting it, the launch angle, all the fun hitting stuff. And, for the pitchers, it's, the mobile TrackMan, it's the Edgertronic, which is a camera that's, films at 1,000 frames per second. So they can really see how the ball's leaving their hand and all the nerd fun stuff that I love. But you're right. It's the other side of it. If it's, if one of the coaches has to coach somebody a little hard, sometimes it's wrapping my arm around them. Or if somebody's not holding a standard, it's helping them understand what we're trying to get accomplished. Or, we've got this great software like web service called True Media, and it's finding ways of how we win ball games. It's when we win, how many 2-strike foul balls do we have? Does that have any correlation to us winning games? Is it, if we steal 3 bases, this is our record. So like, do we need to try to focus on that more? It's finding different stuff like that. It's player development is one of those funny titles to me, but it's just, I view it as how can I stand in the gap? How can I help this coaching staff make the players better? And how can I make the players better as well?
Okay, NC State's been there. You guys have never been there.
Yep.
How can you help these guys just not get overwhelmed by the moment?
So it's funny. I don't do it every year. I've tried to, but whenever my brother Richard on opening day, I did it the first time, like his freshman year of high school, maybe, or maybe it was middle school tryouts. I don't know. But I texted him and I was like, hey, it's still 60 feet, 6 inches from the rubber to home plate. It's still 90 feet to every base. You still got to throw it over the plate. Like the game is the same since they've played it when they were 12. Like once the dimensions got to 60 feet, 6 inches and 90 feet to the bases, it's the exact same no matter what. So, I think our guys have done a great job all year of just understanding how we play baseball. It's taking care of the ball on both sides of it, controlling the strike zone on both sides of it. It's just continuing with that message. It's like, you don't have to all of a sudden hit 20 home runs to win a game. We can still take a hit by pitch, steal second, bunt them to third, and then just score a guy from third base with less than 2 outs. That's what we've been doing all season. So it's just reminding them how we have done it so far and continuing to do that. We literally, I was just talking to Coach Minge before we hopped on here. We're about to do our video session before we start practice. And it's like, all right, we're going over the stuff that it takes to win the game. That's all we talk about. What does it take to win? So we're showing them the good. We're showing them like when we hit 2-strike foul balls, here's the positive. The pitching side, here's our first pitch strikes. Here's the positive outcome out of that. And we're showing them some negatives. Like if we struck out early on 2 strikes, we're showing them that. So it's like this is what we've done up until this point to be co-SEC champions, to win a regional, to win a super regional. This is why we're good. This is why we do these things. And then here's where we still won, but here's where we messed up this past weekend. So all of the above.
Yeah, Sunday, Not that I've been following you all year. I'm not even going
Yeah.
to pretend to tell you that. But just the brief window that I've seen, I mean, the way you won that game Sunday was so typical you guys, right? I mean, a guy
It is.
scores on a wild pitch,
Yeah.
from second because the
Hmm.
other pitcher had kind of a brain fart, and you
Yes.
took advantage of that.
It's one of those things like some of these writers or podcasts or whatever are like, oh, Kentucky only wins when the other team messes up. It's like, well, sure, but like, is that not the idea of the game? Is to make the other team mess up? I mean, sure, like some people get out there and they're like they try to flex their muscles bigger than the other team and they just get into essentially a 9 inning home run derby. Like that's fine. Like we can if we have to, we'll go there. But if you don't execute bunt D, we'll bunt and you'll throw it away at first base, and next thing you know, we're on third, and we'll do it again. Like that's not our fault that we're that you don't practice the things that are important. I mean, we hear from teams all the time. It's like their players will talk to our players, like, "Yeah, we had to run bunt defense 4 times this week in preparation for y'all." And then all of a sudden, we see the pitchers are like a 1-6 to the plate all up until they play us. Now they're a 1-3 with a runner on base, and like all of these things, we're trying to make them as uncomfortable as possible. But that's the idea. You're playing basketball, and it's like guy can't shoot 3 pointers. You're going to force him to 3 point line and make a shoot shot he's not good at. But for some reason in baseball, the pride gets in the way, and people don't appreciate it when you make the other team uncomfortable.
How cool would it be to win a World Series with these guys?
It would be unbelievable. And any team would say the same thing, but like every team that probably starts off, I'm sure every coach would say this team deserves it. This team is, but like this group has been about each other the whole time. We've got some guys, we've got a potential first rounder on the team. We've got immense level of draft picks that have a chance. But when I look at them, it's like these guys came in off of a super regional trip last year at LSU and they got beat by an absolute buzzsaw. I mean, what are you going to do? Paul Skeens starting the first game. You got Dylan Cruz hitting the 2 or 3. It's like, well, I mean, play as hard as you can. Sometimes it works out, but it's like I look at this group and we've got a guy at third base, Mitchell Daly. He went to high school in Alabama, and he's already been to Omaha twice, and he chose to come to Kentucky as a transfer from Texas because he believed in this. Our shortstop is a transfer. He's been a 4-year starter. Our second baseman played here the whole time. Our first baseman's a transfer. Our catcher, Devin, he redshirted his first year, and he's been grinding to be a guy. Right fielder's at Kentucky. He been here the whole time. Center fielder the whole time. Left fielder transfer. I look at our pitching staff and all the guys that just came in believing in this coaching staff. So all of this to say, like, these guys have worked their tails off at it. It would be so cool to watch them dogpile one more time. And I'm just still grateful for the ride and everything that's taken to get here.
Well, I don't know if you can see it, but like over my shoulder here, my 6-year-old granddaughter drew pictures of these 3 cats. They're cat
Yeah,
people. So
yeah.
I'm a big cat person for the next week or so.
Well, it's funny because sometimes our guys they'll get a single or they'll get a walk and then they'll start doing this. They're like they're licking his,
I love it.
just funny college stuff. But they'll act like they're a cat licking their paws and stuff. It's funny.
That's so cool, man.